What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 15 of the CCAU 2G show. Today, we're going to talk about how to deal with people who don't take you serious or toy with you. Now, the information I am bringing to you is based off my research, and I am going to give the researchers number one answers, and then I'm going to give my opinion and my comments. 1. Dealing with people who disrespect or toy with you comes down to commanding respect through actions and shutting down their behavior immediately. Right? So basically, whenever you walk into a space or an environment where you're unsure of what's going on, or you're in a familiar space or environment that you are sure of what's going on, anytime that you feel disrespected, you should act upon the action immediately and not wait, a day, an hour, 30 minutes, a whole minute to, give yourself time to feel like, hey, I do feel disrespected, Once you hear it and it comes off, act upon it immediately, within the next few seconds. So researchers say the best ways to handle with people who don't take you serious or toy with you are: A, stop explaining and defending. Your action should be speak directly and concisely without minimizing your statements. Stand tall, make direct eye contact, and avoid smiling. Yes, that is giving yourself the presence of, I am here for a specific reason, whether it be business, education, friendship, partnership, family, organization. You are standing there to be who you are and represent yourself firmly as you are. B, state your boundaries one time. Action. Address their dismissive behavior directly but calmly. Right? For example, if someone says your name inappropriately, you say, excuse me, my name is your name, and you give yourself, the look of seriousness, saying, hey, my name is your name, and stand tall and firmly, and don't be out there smiling and hee and cracking jokes and being goofy. There's a certain time where you can let loose, but during what we see in 2026, that time is diminishing by the seconds. C, shift to a neutral, distant stance. Action. Act completely unbothered. Treat them like a polite stranger. Be brief and emotionally detached. Best example I can give is customer service. When someone you don't know starts coming off, disrespectfully or toying with you, you give them what they want, what they're asking, and nothing more. They're asking, how your day was, or trying to make small talk, and you personally feel emotionally disrespected or toyed with. You don't entertain it. You give straight up answers, and you don't put your emotions in, by using your tone, saying, I don't dislike, all right, I dislike this and I dislike that. You pretty much, stand tall, give yourself cordial behavior, best customer service representation to whom it concerns. D, limit your availability. I like this one. Action. Pull back, stop going out of your way for them, and don't participate in non-essential conversations. That right there is probably the most powerful one. Limit your availability, when you are disrespected in a work environment. If your boss is toying with you or not taking you serious, ask for less hours. That gives you time to apply for a new job or career, switching a different department, and stop, answering non-essential questions like, hey, what are your plans this weekend? Just be direct, saying, I haven't thought of any yet, but I'll get back to you soon. That gives them the presence, like, I'm not really going to answer you, and I may or may not contact you. And they should know, um, based off their behavior, how they're treating you and how they are reciprocated that action that you gave them back. And it's honestly a shame that, we live in a time of, people who aren't taking others serious off skin color, hair, height, weight, voice, all types of, appearances. I don't, people in that are in position of, authority, those who are in authority aren't always, the best representation of, that school, business, organization. So unfortunately, sometimes you do have to, limit your availability, which, it shows. You can just look around, see who's there the next day, who's not. You may not be there the next day. And E, my favorite, walk away completely. Action. Do not stick around trying to change their mind. Protect your peace by stepping out of the room, ending the conversation, or cutting ties together. Now, cutting ties together really means, hey, I don't think this is going to work. I'm going to move on, move forward. With that being said, I appreciate the opportunity and I'm moving forward. A quote that the researchers gave is, now I quote, when you stop investing your energy into people who don't value it, you take your power back. Now, this quote can be misrepresentation of what is and what's not. Energy meaning, the time of day that you prepared for the situation or scenario or job or the coursework that you're about to embark on, and your power back, not giving that preparation to them and applying it somewhere else. Power not meaning like, the position to say, hey, you're fired, or some other jargons that people of authority use consistently. But it really means, your preparation and your task that you're going to embark on, how you're going to get things done. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Don't sit there and pout. Just move on from it. Don't even give your attention to the occurrence, because one thing you can't stop is the thoughts. But attention meaning like standing there for no reason after you got disrespected. It's best to just walk away completely. Don't stick around trying to change their mind off who you are. One thing you can change is the minor things, but the larger picture is fairly hard to change without having drastic medical help, or either putting yourself in a position where it's life threatening, unfortunately. But people shouldn't have that type of power over you at all. But I did like how the researchers pinpointed these steps. Stop explaining and defending. State your boundaries one time. Shift to a neutral, distant stance. Act completely unbothered. Treat them like a polite stranger. Brief, emotionally detached. Limit your availability, which is very, very, very strong. And my favorite, walk away completely. Like I've been saying in most episodes, you want to put your safety first. You never know who is going through what, and you don't want to be in a altercation where it becomes a assault case, between you and a person, or they using some type of weapon to force you to do something like that. It's not that serious. In 2026, you got to stay safe to make money. And one thing about being safe is being healthy. If you're healthy, you can make the right decisions. And even if you're not, you can always educate yourself into how to make the right decisions. So in this video, we discussed how to deal with people who don't take you serious or toy with you. And hopefully we answered that question for you all. And I appreciate you all for tuning into episode 15 into the CCAU 2G show. Thank you.